Welcome to part 4 LangChain. In this session we will see the data it's been trained on in part number 3 video. We can see what happens when we ask a more specific question to this model. So we can create a new prompt that asks what is the new course, what is the CSAT score achieved for the luxury automotive brand, how did it is created to the target, and we can see the model has been given response, no actual values. So again it's giving the poetic chatbot and giving the relevant output in a relevant format, but actual meaning is from this Teleperformance website. Here he is saying 97% CSAT will significantly exceeded their target of 80% for a luxury automated brand. So but I am asking this question, what is the CSAT score? So the answer should be 97%, but it's giving some kind of poetic response or giving kind of any theoretical answer, how did it compare to the target and everything, but it's giving some question. But I don't need so GPT models have been trained on a lot of data, but this data only goes as far as 2021, so they might not have the most up to date information. There is a solution. So using LangChain we are able to import our own data and have this read by our language models. Our language models can then reference this when creating our response using the LangChain framework. So let's have a look at what LangChain is and what it can be used for us. Here I'm just using this example. This is a relevant website we will be using. I'll share this website as well. If you do not have this library in your I'm just giving this example here, and also I'm just providing this example here. Okay, so I'm also writing this pip install LangChain community. If it is not installed, you will have to install this library. So before running the upcoming code, I am going to write basic libraries. For example, I want to import this web-based entire portal. I'll be using this web-based loader, recursive chatbot for text splitting, for OpenAI embedding. I'm going to use everything. I'm going to use FAIS. I'll explain what is the FAISS. What I'm going to use conversation buffer memory. It is going to store previous conversation with this previous question answer. Means, for example, if I'm talking about Teleperformance and in the next question I'm asking what is its origin, so it is what it is obviously Teleperformance, but how model is going to keep it in memory, it is called conversation buffer memory. It is going to keep in that record. If it is not there, that it won't be recognized. What is the it meaning here? It refers to what? It is Wipro, Infosys, Teleperformance or any other company. So it is not going to establish the dialogue in between these two conversations. So therefore I'm going to create this model for the relevant piece of code. This would be entire scenario here. So I'm going to use this part here for my Teleperformance. I'm going to use this word. I'm going to store some URL here. So this URL I'm going to store here. So can you see this is the same URL I have just stored in my URL variable, and then going to load my web-based loader here, and this URL is going to define here. Okay, let's import all these libraries. I didn't import here, and let's going to import here. Let's run this cell again. Can you see it's not throwing any error now? Now raw documents will be loaded here. Everything will be there in this raw documents. It will be store every information in this, whatever is there in this web page. It will be scrolling here. If you want to see, you can write raw documents and just print this cell. Can you see it's just storing everything? It's look very clumsy, but it is parsing every terms here. It is giving complete understanding of that web page. So I'm going to comment this section because it's not that much required. So in the next step, it is to take our data and chunk it into small pieces. This is necessary in order to make sure we only pass the smallest, most relevant piece of text to the language model. So we will create our text splitter, and then use the recursive character text splitter. We can then create our documents. So we will use text splitter dot split documents over our raw documents. This will take the text from our URL, break it up into small pieces for us. So I'm going to create the text splitter code. So I'm going to paste it here. This would be text splitter, and this split documents will be there. Then I'm going to import my embedding part. This would be embedding, and I'm going to use this embedding key. If you recall, I have stored my open key in this variable in part number 1. So I'll have to pip install this tick token. If it is not there, I have already installed, so I'm not going to install it, not going to run this cell. Then here it is pip install FAI. So what is this? It is Facebook AI similarity search. This is predefined libraries and defined by Facebook only. So this Facebook is defining this entire data because they have much text unstructured data, and using their own structured data they have researched so many things, and they are using, you just use this. If in case you are having CPU, you just install this space underscore CPU. If you are using GPU, so you just install this code. I'm just going to write it here. Okay, so whatever we need to install, you will just define it here only. So I'm going to install pip install face GPU. Can you see I'm not going to again running this code because this is the code vector. Okay, now I'm going to store this vector. So this is going to store this part and not going to store this one. And I'm going to, if you want to store the embedding part, you can skip this part, and you need to install this upgrade OpenAI. It is not upgraded in here. Sometimes you need to install the LangChain as well. So you need to install this LangChain using this upgrade LangChain community OpenAI. So you will have to upgrade this base model also. Now I'm going to import some other libraries. I'm not going to run this cell because this is already upgraded here. Now I'm going to use this rate limiter error and API connection error and API timeout, these basic libraries for my upcoming session. So I'm going to import this open environment. This is the open key. For this open key, I'm going to install this one. Now from this LangChain community, I'm going to import these two libraries, this face and this OpenAI embedding. For this, I'm going to this one. Okay, so I'm going to use this code here. Okay, this is the OpenAI. Then I'm going to initialize my embedding correctly. So I'm going to use this embedding correctly here, and then I'm going to use this vector store, and assuming document is a list of LangChain document objects. So therefore you can remove this part because this is also using this fact document use. So I'm going to delete this part here. Okay, then we can now create a memory object which is necessary to track the inputs and outputs, and furthermore to hold a conversation. So to create our memory, we use conversation buffer memory. We will give the memory keys as the chat history, and specific return message is equal true. We can now initialize the conversation retrieval chain so that we can have the communication between previous code and the upcoming code. So for example, I have seen the example. So when Teleperformance was originated, so I'm just giving the first prompt. So this was the first question asked to the ChatGPT, the question number 1, and the question number 2 is asked what's it like performance. Okay, so what is it here? This is the question mark to ChatGPT. How it is going to resolve that? What is it? It represent to Teleperformance. So this Teleperformance is going to communicate with this conversation buffer memory. Yes, this it is refers to previous previous company which named as Teleperformance, and this question is being asked with the relevant to this TP part only. So you can think about this idea, how this conversation memory is storing a small chunk of data from one conversation to the another conversation. So you can talk about any issue that have come up since in your mind, and you can summarize and you can conversation from your part anyway. Okay, let's move ahead in this section. What kind of question we can ask here? Okay, so we are going to conversation retrieve an LM, and then we provide the open AI, and then I'm going to create some other memories as well. So hit enter, and can you see we are going to pass our memory, and this we are going to ready to our model question asked in this context. We provided from this value, and this is the Teleperformance value. Okay, let's see, it is not stored, so maybe some part is not missing there. I have not run that code. Okay, why it was there? Because I had not run this cell number. So this cell is now run, it's currently running. Now I can see this, there is no error. Now I asked question number 1, what is the query number 1? So query number 1 is the same we had seen earlier. What is the CSAT score achieved for the luxury automated branded? You can see, go back here, so you can see for a luxury automated brand, what is the CSAT score? Significantly assesses the target of 80%. Can you see, compared to 80%? I'm asking this question to my prompt. So this is going to convey this result and going to store in this QA method, and it's giving this value. Okay, then I can ask this value. For example, if I am going to run, can you see this is giving 80%. Okay, this is the straightforward answer. This is the 80% target. Okay, which means I'm going to provide the correct output of it. Okay, then let's see question number 2, if it is asking anything. Okay, so I'm going to ask the same, using the same model, the question number 2. What is the question number 2? It's asking together we are pushing boundaries. You can see, go down, you can see this is just a statement, and this is entire statement. So I'm going to ask my model who said this. So I'm going to run this query number 2, and same query is being asked with this QA function which I created above. I'm going to ask this question number 2, and let's see what's the response of this prompt. I'm going to run this cell, and can you see it's giving the certain idea. Can you see this was said by President of Global Purchasing and Supply. Can you see this was said by President and Global Purchase Supply for a leader US automotive manufacturing. This is how you can provide everything for your certain module, and you can provide open API key and specify temperature for the response. And if you remember the temperature, just control how random the response is, and then we pass our vector store as retriever and pass our memory, and that's it. We are now ready to ask our model question based on this text we provide from the given values and given text data set. Thank you so much for being with us. This was all about the basic question.